but we pay around around $1,000 for childcare for the childcare facility that we send our kid to, and that's an expense to keep in mind as well if you have toddlers. Oh, hey everybody! Welcome back to Canadian-cia, my YouTube channel. And to everyone out there, this is another one of those informational vlogs about life in Canada. Probably one of the most important topics that need to be discussed about life in Canada. So stay tuned, keep watching this vlog till the very end, because you're going to be getting some very, very important information in this vlog that is not covered in other channels. Well, some of it might be, but not all. So join me on another exciting informational vlog on Canadian-cia. Now, a lot of people have asked me this question. Is life really, truly expensive in Canada? Or is it something that is just, promoted or talked about on various social media channels and it doesn't have a lot of weightage behind it? Well, life in Canada, let me tell you, is not cheap. There is an element of truth to the fact that everything in Canada has a cost to it. It's one of the most expensive cities among the G7, among the developed countries in the world. And there's various reasons for that, which we will not get into in this vlog. But what I want everyone to know is that, and everyone that's living here already knows a lot about it, but everyone that's not living here and is planning to move here at some point, you should keep these expenses in mind, because it will help you in better planning for your financial success when you move to Canada. So without any further delay, let's start looking at what those expenses are. The number one expense when you move to Canada is rent. Now, what is the percentage of rent that I pay? Well, I'm paying rent of around $1,900 for a one-bedroom apartment in the GTA area. And this is a one-bedroom condo apartment. That's what I'm paying, and this is without any bills. So bills are separate. So that's the number one expense that you have to consider when you're living in Canada or when you are planning to move to Canada. Rent. And let me tell you, rent is not cheap in Canada. In fact, it's going up even more so. So that's something, and it will take a significant chunk of your paycheck, of your income that you're earning while you're in Canada. So we'll make a separate vlog about how we can find cheaper places to rent in Canada. But for the purpose of this particular vlog, I want you to keep in mind that that's the number one expense. Now, the number two expense that you need to keep in mind is bills. The bills that you pay. And we're going to be talking about electric bills and Electra, which is the company that provides electricity. It could be water as well. We don't pay for water, it's included. But electric is separate. You have to pay for electric. And then there's also heating that you have to pay for. Now, it could be included in your apartment lease, for example, or you might have to pay it separate. So bills is another part of it. And what is the percentage of bills or what is the amount of bills that we pay for this one-bedroom apartment? Well, we pay for around $70 to $80 per month for electric. So that's another expense that you need to keep in mind. Well, you're going to be making calls here. Probably not from a landline, unless you get a landline, but generally speaking, everyone has, guess what? A cell phone, right? So you'll have to be paying a cell phone bill. And as you know, from a lot of other vlogs out there, we will not cover the information that's covered in other vlogs. We're going to be talking about something that can be of value to you in essence, in terms of how to plan for expenses while you're living in Canada. So cell phone bills, the cell phone bills that me and my partner, we pay for, it comes to around $140, $120 to $140, and that's a range that we pay. Again, it could vary among different households, but that's just to give you a good idea about how much a standard family that lives in the GTA. Now, of course, when you're living in Canada, you will be eating food, you'll be going out, doing groceries, and groceries is an important part of your expense planning in Canada. Now, how you do groceries, where you do groceries, I've made a different vlog about how you could do cheaper groceries, or especially fruits and vegetables. That's another vlog. You can make sure to check out that vlog if you'd like to get some more information about that. But in terms of the expenses that any typical household encounters, we encounter about $800 to $1,000 for a family of three. Those are the expenses that we have for groceries. This includes all the groceries. It also includes the coffee that we get sometimes on the weekends from outside. Once in a week we get coffee from Timmy's or from Starbucks, and that counts in as well. So that is an estimate, $1,000 approximately is how much we spend on groceries, and that's another expense that you need to keep in mind. I'm giving you a range for a family of 3. You can use this range to sort of, plan for yourself if you have a similar number of family members, or if not, if it's more, you can, sort of plan accordingly as well. Remember, it's going to vary, right? But I'm giving you an estimate of a typical household and giving you my perspective and my opinion. Again, comes with a disclaimer. This whole vlog comes with a disclaimer. Things vary in the GTA area in Canada. Now, you will be driving a car, most likely, but if you're not driving a car, well, you'll be saving on the car expenses in Canada. Now, I do drive a car because I need it for a couple of things. I need to go to work, first of all, a couple of days. My work is hybrid, so I need to go to work a couple of days, and it's a 30-minute drive, so I need a car. And that's why I bought a new car. I leased a new car, I should say, and I made another vlog on that. Make sure to check it out if you want more information about leasing cars in Canada. Now, I do pay about $320 as part of the lease payments for this new car, and then I also pay around $400 for insurance, car insurance as well. So all in all, about $800 comes to around $800. That's the amount allocated to my car expenses. Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, you're paying a lot for car expenses. Well, yeah, it's a brand new car. I leased a brand new car, and I'm paying that much. And if you don't have a car, you would probably save on this expense. Now, if you have a child like I do, you probably are going to be sending that kid to toddler to a daycare or a childcare facility, because otherwise, how will you be able to work at home, right? So, or how will you be able to work in general? Me and my partner, we both work, so we need to avail this service. And to be honest, they're also not cheap. The range varies in the region of GTA. I'm giving you expenses in the area of GTA to be precise. And again, this is a big area, so it could vary. So just keep that in mind, okay? I don't want you to take the numbers literally. It does vary. But we pay around $1,000 for childcare, for the childcare facility that we send our kid to. And that's an expense to keep in mind as well if you have toddlers. Now, once you're living in Canada, you're not just going to be working all the time, especially on the weekends. If you have family members and friends, you're going to be meeting them. You're going to be going out. You will have some entertainment expenses, some what we call, enjoying the life sort of expenses, living the life a little bit as well, because you're working all the time. You will not be, working even on the weekends. You'll be having some time off, spending some time with family, and you'll be going out. You might have some dinner invitations, some parties to go to on the weekends. Might invite some people, so you need to make sure that you plan this amount as well in your budget. And this, I've given it a separate category in my budgetary calculation. And the expenses around, the amounts that we get every month, it varies, but we keep a budget for, entertainment expenses, going to movies, eating out, and eating out when you're going out with other people. And we keep that budget to around $200 to $300 a month, but sometimes it does go up and down. So budget for this amount, keep that in mind while you're doing your your calculations, your financial projections for your personal household. And if you keep this amount in mind, or if you keep this category in mind, then you'll be better positioned to manage your finances accordingly as well. I think what other expenses can be taken into account while we're living in Canada? Well, again, it would vary, right? This is a standard that we have, and again, you might have different expenses. You might have a different category of expenses, depending upon your lifestyle. So plan for that in mind. Look at what are some necessary expenses. It could be, subscriptions to the gym, right? We have a gym in the condo building, so we don't have to pay for that. But maybe if you are someone that takes care of your health, that goes to the gym regularly, that's another expense you might have to worry about. It could also be the fact that you are, you are going for regular beauty care, right? For haircuts, for your hair extensions, or your nail polishings and whatnot, right? Depends. Whatever you're going for in terms of personal care, that's another expense you need to keep in mind. So there you go, guys. I hope this short yet sweet vlog has given you an idea about the different types of expenses that you need to keep in mind when you're living in Canada. And these are, as you can see, this is sort of the final amount that we are paying for our expenses while we are living in Canada. This amount could vary. And just remember, you have to be earning more than this. This is for us. We're trying to earn more than this, but at times, believe it or not, we are not earning as much as we should be to cover these expenses. So every month sometimes fluctuates, which is why it's so hard to save money for us especially. And this is why we are, we're doing multiple things, right? I run a consulting business on the side as well. My partner is doing something on the side, and we're trying to make sure that we're able to cover not just these expenses, because that's how we have to pay these expenses, right? We have to cover these bills while we're living here, but also we're trying to ensure that we are able to live a good life. We're not working all the time. We're working smartly. We are investing, and I'm going to be making a lot of videos on this particular topic. That's another really important topic that we need to talk about is financial literacy. I'm going to be making another vlog on some of the topics on this particular channel. Watch out for future vlogs. Now, in this vlog, I have given you a list of all the expenses that we are, that we have accounted for in Canada, the family of 3. I'm going to be making a separate vlog about how you can save on each of these items while you're living in Canada, or how you can be, economical, how you can look for strategies that would sort of cut back on some of these expenses. I'm going to be making a separate vlog on that, because that's a whole different topic on its own. But hopefully this gives you a sort of an idea about a standard expense list for a family of 3 in the GTA area. Again, this would vary depending upon your individual needs, but I hope you found this vlog valuable. I hope you learned something from this particular vlog, and I hope you're able to keep these things in mind when you're planning to come down to Canada. Again, it brings us towards the end of this vlog. Please make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed this vlog, if you found this vlog valuable. Subscribe, share this content, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you get notifications when I upload interesting vlogs like this. Until next time, bye-bye from Canadian. See ya. And remember, always keep on trekking.